Join us as we continue our crazy misadventure around Europe on a fleet of Ferraris, a Porsche Panamera, and the world-exclusive drive of the Pagani Zonda 5. Watch us grill the manufacturers on the sexy Hyundai Genesis Coupe and Subaru Forester XT. These are coming your way here at Sea Drive. After more than 8 years of driven passion, with over 1,500 cars tested, over 2 million rewarding kilometers, in over 50 countries around the globe. Sea Magazine has scoured the streets to find the best of the best.
Hi, I'm James Deacon, and welcome to another twisted cambered road that leads straight into our high-octane world that we call Sea Drive.
I'm Kevin Limhoko. Warning! There's going to be slipping, sliding, it's going to be wet, it's going to be wild, there's even going to be a collapsing moment there, and that's all me, right here on Sea Drive.
This segment is brought to you by Hyundai Asia Resources, Oris, Swiss-made watches since 1904. Ayala Land Premier, BPI Family Savings Bank, and Michelin Philippines.
There have been a lot of surprises coming out of Korea over the last few years, but nothing makes a bolder, louder, and more audacious statement than the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. 300 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, enough said.
That's right. Hyundai has come a long way in the Philippines in the past 8 years.
Wait, hang on. Hyundai?
Yes,
You gotta be
Hyundai.
kidding me. Are you serious?
Yeah, Hyundai.
It's Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Well, there's only one way to settle this.
Grill!
All right, there's something really nagging me. I'll get to that in just a second. Listen, there's a lot of people out there who are probably scratching their head, wondering how on earth a Hyundai, a Korean car, was able to beat the likes of a BMW 135 and the highly coveted STI.
Easy, James. Bang for your buck. Where else can you get attainable 300 horsepower for the price of the Genesis Coupe?
Good point. But this is a grill section after
certainly
all,
is.
and I'm sure you're familiar with it, so I'm just going to get straight to the point. There is something that has been bugging us beyond belief. I mean, it's like a stone in your shoe.
Or the itch in the back.
You know what it's like? You're just... Ugh. How do you pronounce the name of the brand? Is it Hyundai
Hyundai.
or is it Hyundai?
That's easy. It's Hyundai, like Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
Told you. That was
So it's Hyundai.
like Sunday. All right.
Okay.
A lot of people know the brand Hyundai. Say it right now.
Well
But
done.
there are some people out there who are going to walk into your showroom who may not have any idea about the brand. You got 30 seconds to sell it to them.
All right.
Your time starts now.
Sure, there are a lot of 300 horsepower cars out there, but not this good looking. And certainly not at this price range. But who else can offer a 300 horsepower car with a 5-year warranty nationwide?
The man makes
That makes perfect
solid
sense.
case.
That is solid. Now you can drive all around the country with all that confidence. It's pretty beautiful as well. It's good looking. It really
colors.
is. What? Are you kidding me?
This segment is brought to you by Nexen.
The Hyundai Genesis Coupe was awarded the Sports Coupe of the Year against the BMW 135i, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution MR10, and the Subaru STI.
Pretty formidable cars when you consider these are tried and proven both on and off the road. They've won both rally and race circuits, and I don't think the Genesis has done that.
Well, it hasn't done that, James, but it actually is a true sports car. Front engine, rear-wheel drive, limited slip, 3.8-liter V6 with 312 horsepower. It's an incredible car and an incredible value. At less than 2 million pesos, it's unbelievable.
And it's quite good looking too.
It's very good looking.
And so is the car.
And so are you.
In the premium sports sedan / coupe category, the BMW M3 held on to its crown, but just by a whisker, because it was up against some serious competition and some newcomers like the Lexus ISF. And then, of course, there's the almighty Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG.
The BMW M3 Coupe was able to defend its crown once again, even though by a small margin, because of the dual clutch transmission and a few more niceties that was thrown in, especially against the formidable competition.
You could almost say that the car won by just about the length of a gear change, and that's pretty fast. You know, for a moment there, I actually thought it was going to be the Lexus ISF. Okay there? I thought the Lexus ISF was going to take it. It has fantastic 8-speed transmission and, of course, an awesome engine. But the BMW M3 still came up trumps.
The Toyota Innova 2.5G with the automatic transmission was awarded the Multi-Purpose Vehicle of the Year against the ISUZU CROSSWIND Sportivo and last year's winner, the Mitsubishi Fusion GLS.
Now, this is where I gotta get something off my chest. Last year, it was the Fusion that won against the Innova. What happened? Why all of a sudden the Innova wins?
That's right, James. The Mitsubishi Fusion GLS is still a great vehicle. However, the Toyota Innova 2.5G just got so much better with that facelift and better interior packaging. It's outstanding.
I guess you can say the country's best-selling vehicle just got a little bit better. Well, things started to get pretty dirty in the pickup class as the Nissan Navara 4x4 held on to its crown. And it was up against, well, the very tried and proven Toyota Hilux 3-liter. And then, of course, the Mitsubishi Strada 3.2-liter.
The Mitsubishi Strada, James, is very comfortable, and the Toyota Hilux is very reliable. So how did the Navara defend?
Well, it's true. The Toyota is practically unbreakable, and it did go through a series of upgrades as well in the year. However, it really wasn't enough to top that beautiful, luscious surge of torque that the Navara has. Best in class, by the way, still, and also the best in class power. Plus, while the Strada is extremely comfortable, I agree. I think it's great. It's the most passenger car-like. It kind of lacks a little bit in the bed. And when you're talking about a pickup, you really do need that extra space because it is, after all, a workhorse.
This segment is brought to you by Universal Motors Philippines and Nexen. After the break, we grill Subaru Philippines and manage to squeeze information you're not supposed to know. Later, Kevin and I go a food and a cara crazy in Italia, even before we get to drive the Ferrari 612 Scaglietti. Next on C Drive.
Aurus, official watch partner of the AT&T Williams team. The experts drive high-tech Williams and wear high-mech Aurus. Stylish, strong, powerful. Aurus, Swiss-made watches since 1904.
This segment is brought to you by Yokohama Tire Sales Philippines and Nexen.
The Subaru Forester XT was awarded the Compact Sport Utility Vehicle with a 5-seater category this year against the previous winner, the Honda CR-V with a 2.4-liter, and the Mitsubishi Outlander GLS with a 3-liter V6.
They're pretty interesting cars, and some of the keen observers, especially from last year, would know that the CR-V did win against the Forester and the Outlander. But, Kevin?
As good as the Honda CR-V is and the Mitsubishi Outlander, the Subaru Forester XT is all new this year. It may have the same horsepower rating, but it's bigger, it's more comfortable, it's got more features than it did last year. It's also really good looking. In fact, I think it's the best overall vehicle you can buy.
For once, I got nothing to add.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In the 7-seater compact SUV segment, it was a Mitsubishi Montero that cruised to its first victory in its debut year. Now, that's no easy task considering it's up against the mother of all SUVs in the 7-seater category. It was at one point a 1-year waiting list, Toyota Fortuner. Then, of course, there was last year's winner, the Hyundai, as in Sunday, Santa Fe.
Hold on, James. The Hyundai Santa Fe won last year, and the Toyota Innova, which did get a facelift, won its category. This year, the Toyota Fortuner also went through a similar facelift. Why did it lose?
Well, for one, these guys are up against an entirely new model. Okay, the Montero Sport came in and it just pretty much demolished the segment. They did this because of unbelievable pricing. How Mitsubishi did it, I'm still not sure, and I'm sure the competitors are also scratching their head. But you know what? Knowing Toyota and Hyundai, these guys are going to come back fighting with even bigger and better products next year.
This segment is brought to you by Nexen, Oris, Swiss-made watches since 1904, Ayala Land Premier, and BPI Family Savings Bank.
Very few cars seem to have it all, and that are tailor-fit for our country. They got utility, they got performance, and they got comfort.
You may have already noticed that the big winners of the C Awards happen to all be relatively newcomers to the industry, at least when you're talking about the established brands in the Philippines. But you all know what that means, because it can't all be warm and fuzzy on this show.
Oh yeah.
Are you ready? Do it with me. Grill,
Grill.
grill, 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 grill. Ariel, welcome to the show. 3 outstanding awards in just 3 years of operation. Did you ever think back in 2006 when Motor Image set up Subaru here in the Philippines that you'd be standing here receiving all these accolades?
Not even in our wildest imagination. When we came here in 2006, plan was simple. Come here, set up shop, introduce the brand Subaru to the Philippine market. 3 years later, everything's just going great for us.
Well, that was just the easy question, just to
Absolutely.
lure him into a
Too
full
easy,
sense of
too
confidence.
easy,
Here
too
comes the
easy.
grill question, all right, Ariel? Subaru claimed to be this brand that's a go-anywhere type of vehicle, a big active lifestyle and rugged and all that. Why no diesel engine in this country? That's very, very important.
Well, we actually have one already in Europe. We just introduced this
Nice.
last year. It's now available in the Legacy and coming very soon in the Forester. However, like you said, we still don't have it in the Philippines because there are certain studies still being made whether the engine is fit for Philippine use. You have to consider the quality of diesel
right.
available in the Philippine market and whether it would suit our own specifications. But we are seriously considering bringing in the technology here in the Philippine market.
That's
That
fantastic.
was just a lucky
Yeah, that's
answer.
no, but
Lucky
actually,
answer, lucky
there's also the new car coming in, the new Legacy. All right, so I mean, what do we expect from the new Legacy?
Well, we have not only the Legacy, but we also have the Outback. We'll be introducing 2 new models at the same time, probably in 2 weeks' time. Philippines would be hearing about the new 2.5 Turbo GT Legacy and
Fantastic.
the Outback now available in 3.6 engine. So 2 new vehicles coming for Subaru
Holy
this year.
smokes! Basically, so that the Tribeca engine is now going to be in the Outback?
Yes, that's right.
Wow, that's going to be a winner, man.
Well, we're quite excited as well.
It's going to be outstanding. Now, aside from all the achievements in 3 years, you've been doubling your growth every single year. What do you attribute the success to?
Well, modesty aside, since coming here in 2006, our sales have been doubling every year. In 2008, we registered growth of 100%. And this year, so far in 2009, we've been able to sustain that growth, and we've been growing so far by 98%. It's the biggest so far in the Philippine automotive industry.
Quality sales, James.
Well, they started,
Quality
what he
sales.
didn't say is they started in December of 2008, so of course they doubled. No, I'm just kidding. You got 30 seconds to sell your brand to somebody who doesn't know about it. Give us your best shot.
Well, if you want to find out what pure engineering and performance is all about, you can visit us at Subaru Green Hills showroom, the only showroom right now in the country. We're located along Green Hills EDSA.
If we had the cards, I'd go 10
Oh, absolutely.
or 9.5.
No, actually, I would go with, this is brought to you by Subaru.
This segment is brought to you by Brothers Burger, Motor Image Pilipinas, Honda Cars Philippines, and Castrol.
Next up, the moment you've been waiting for. Part 2 of our Italian saga featuring the Ferrari 612 Scaglietti in Crossroads.
Hey there, how you guys doing? Now, where did we leave off last time?
Oh, that's right. We were on our way to Maranello to test drive those Ferraris. From our hotel in Bologna, it's about a 45-minute drive through the city, about 50% highway, 50% country roads, through quaint little villages and nice little sights like this one, of course, along the way. But none more beautiful than the sight of the sports car capital of the world.
Attenzione! Attenzione! The 2 Filippini coming into Maranello, hey!
You know, to describe the way we feel when they come into Maranello, it's like a little child, right? A little child and they go into the Disneyland.
Disneyland.
You know the Disneyland, right? When they come closer, they get excited, you know, they want to make a pee-pee, but... oh, mira, oh. It's a...
Car wash.
But a beautiful car wash, I mean, you know.
Here's a place where passion is spelled with the letter F. Hang on, that would make it fashion, wouldn't it?
We have a meeting with Mateo Torre, Kevin, and James from C Magazine.
Is that our car?
Here's our car.
We swap the Alfa Romeo 159 that smells like a wet hairy dog for that.
Beautiful.
There are months where I feel guilty picking up a paycheck, it's true. We were given a short technical presentation by a very interesting man, but in all honesty, all we wanted to do was just get out of there and drive the car before they changed their minds. You know what I mean?
You know that feeling when... That feeling like when you know the shopkeeper's giving you too much change?
You want to just get out of there as quickly as possible before they realize. But being the professional motoring journalists that we are, of course we had to critique the car and find some fault.
What I want to know is, what the hell is that?
What?
Is that a cup holder for like a short black espresso coffee?
Yeah, it is. What a phone.
A phone, see. A miniature loaf of bread.
I have to admit it, the first time I laid eyes on the 612, it didn't exactly get my heart racing, or my juices flowing. It struck me as an old man's Ferrari, but driving it for the first time, it is absolutely wonderful. It is a true Ferrari in every sense. It just needs 4 people. Plus, it's very, very comfortable. What they've done here in the interior is matches just about any luxury sedan I've ever driven. The leather, of course, is top-notch. They've got the one-to-one program, which is Ferrari's individual program, where you can choose absolutely everything, including the name of the cow that they took the leather off.
The 612 also gets the 599 gearbox. This is completely new and upgraded, and it shifts now in 100 milliseconds.
And you can be in comfort mode and activate the F1 paddle shifter. See, previously when you were in comfort mode, everything's on soft mode. But now, with the 612, the new feature is they allow you to override that. So you can still have the comfort in the suspension, but you can activate the gearbox to be at its most responsive. And that's really awesome. The car itself just feels alive. It just feels like it's begging for an instruction. And as soon as you give it, it doesn't even waste a single breath. It just leaps out and grabs it with all four wheels and says, "Yes, master." And you've also got this awesome glass roof that's electronically controlled to let in as much or as little light as you want. And then, of course, there's the sound.
So we drove around for as long as possible, using the car as much as we could, making sure as many people as possible saw we were driving a Ferrari. Until, of course, Kevin got lost.
Highway, no,
It can't be an hour.
no way.
The exit.
Then I started to have my own little fights with a toll booth.
No, don't do that. It'll do it on its own.
Attenzione, non chiudere lo sportello a mano, recuperare le banconote o le tessere inserite e introdurle dove indicato.
Siempre que te pregunto que cuando, como y dónde, tú siempre me respondes quizás.
Let's get out of here, man.
Quizás.
So when technology failed us, we relied on Kevin's internal navigation, which led us straight to lunch.
Let's see if you can make it a perfect record of decent food. Haven't let me down yet, buddy.
As usual, I let Kevin do all the ordering, which he does very well.
This is a risotto flogo arterie.
Kevin's record had remained 100% perfect. Having never delivered a bad meal yet, he made sure that while we drove around like princes, we had to eat like kings, even if we had the budget of a pauper. Yep, our sneaky little plan didn't work this time, and we had to pay it off in other ways. Well, at least mine was nowhere near as bad as what Kevin had to do. The drive home was long and awkward. But it's nothing that a good meal couldn't fix, of course. So there we were at dinner, cheering ourselves up with food. Kevin more than others. But there was a problem. We were at risk of breaking Kevin's perfect record.
Homemade disaster. Ragu.
Yup, it's not exactly pleasant when your meal looks like it has already been digested. But one of Kevin's most admirable qualities is that he will never, ever waste food, no matter how bad.
Smells like... What's the name of that your shoe?
Sanuk.
It's Sanuk.
So he took one for mankind and ate it anyway. And ate. And ate. And ate. And ate.
You know what? In the end, it wasn't that bad.
And ate again, to the point of delirium. And absolutely refused to give up till the very last bite, or until the inevitable happened. This segment is brought to you by Brothers Burger, Asian Car Makers Corporation BMW, Bridgestone Asia Pacific, Motorlight, and Nissan Motor Philippines. They say good things come in threes. For us, it was the Ferrari 599 HGTE, the all-new California, and the world-exclusive drive of the Pagani Zonda 5. All these are coming up next on C Drive.
Aurus, official watch partner of the AT&T Williams team. The experts drive high-tech Williams and wear high-mech Auris. Stylish, strong, powerful. Auris, Swiss-made watches since 1904.
This segment is brought to you by Brothers Burger, Asian Car Makers Corporation BMW, and Bridgestone Asia Pacific. Day 3 of our Italian escapade, and Kevin and I were in extremely high spirits, despite a few mishaps along the way. We had just picked up the almighty 599 GTB Fiorano and were touring the beautiful Italian countryside in one of the most finely tuned machines on earth. If only we could say the same about our voices.
When the moon hits your eye like a big beach of fire, that's amore. When the world starts to shine like a drive of 599.
But just as the Lord giveth, the Lord also taketh away. And we were about to find out that there was only one thing worse than our singing, and that was the news we were about to receive.
Buongiorno. See? Oi, really?
What?
Top Gear UK?
What?
Yes, the dream had come to a crashing end. Kevin and I were absolutely gutted.
Dude, basically this car, Jeremy requested for it. So the car is actually
you gotta be kidding.
It's got to be prepared because it's going to be sent to the UK.
This particular one going to Top Gear UK for filming.
This is going up there, yes.
But then all of a sudden, a miracle.
Much better. Guys. Much better.
It's as if Matteo had pulled the handbrake on our fortunes and turned it all around and produced a 599 GTB Fiorano with the handling package in the color that God had intended it to be painted.
Round 2, baby! When the moon hits your eye like a big beach of fire.
But as cheerful as we were again, all the stress had finally taken its toll, and Kevin had gotten hungry again, which led us straight to our lunch stop.
Okay, but what, do you have any mozzarella di bufala?
Sì? Yes.
Okay, with prosciutto?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have one more. And then we'll have a pizza, the quattro formaggi, but if we can have, in addition, salsiccia.
Okay.
Okay. The tortellini, cal bianca.
There I was, just sitting there, wondering when he was going to order something for me.
And then...
But at least the restaurant had some entertainment for guests. It was like a charade or guessing game.
For risotto, today we have with zucchini. Courgette. No.
kind of
vegetable or
yes, vegetable.
the green vegetable.
Green vegetable, long
spinach.
Zucchini.
No,
Zucchini.
no spinach. No.
Zucchini.
Just a moment.
Cucumber.
Well, after going backwards and forwards between the kitchen and our table, and more hand movements than a cheap kung fu flick, the mystery vegetable turned out to be a zucchini.
Imagine making a whole dish in the flavor zucchini and getting away with it. Only in Italy. Only in Italy can they do this. Zucchini flavored risotto. Probably got 10,000 calories in it though. Which means we're gonna have to run out of this restaurant pretty fast to burn them.
It was another home run for Kevin, and the food was absolutely perfect, making him the Michael Phelps of food connoisseurs. But, contrary to what it may look like, we were actually there to do the cars. So after yet another artery-clogging lunch, it was off to work. Although between you and me, I think Kevin and I had started to spend a little too much time together.
So let's shoot this one, babe.
All right, babe. The hardest thing about driving a Ferrari is not actually keeping it on the road, but how to wipe that silly smile off your face and not look like a valet parker.
How do you refuse something you want when it comes your way? How do you refuse something you need?
But as stunning as the 599 HGTE with the handling package is, we needed to get our fill of this car because we were on our way back to Maranello to exchange it for Ferrari's all-new model. It's a car that's going to shape their entire sports car line. It's a car they say is the perfect Ferrari, and we were just minutes away from finding out.
Well, the great news is we're going to get a classic car. The bad news is it's this.
This is Ferrari's very first electronic retractable hardtop car. It's also the first with a direct injection V8 engine and a dual clutch transmission. It's the ultimate plaything. We just needed the ultimate playground to let that red horse run loose. And once we found them, there was absolutely no stopping us. There is hardly a more satisfying feeling in the world than a beautiful set of curves with an even more beautiful car. A car that is stunning from absolutely every single angle. Inside and outside, or the front. But there really is nothing more beautiful than the rear of a Ferrari. But all this high-octane action was starting to build up an enormous appetite. Needless to say, I let Kevin do all the ordering as usual. And there was quite a feast for us. There was the mozzarella buffalo with fresh Italian tomatoes, as well as Italian al dente spaghetti aglio olio e peperoncino, and a very heavy gnocchi gorgonzola. And to think that was just for starters. But oh, how the mighty have fallen, and the menu finally beat Kevin. It was perhaps the most sensible move Kevin had done in the restaurant so far, and I congratulated him for it. But I may have spoken a little too soon. As soon as he came to, it was off to Modena to drive the Pagani Zonda 5. This is one of only 5 of this type of car built in the entire planet. It is one of the most exclusive cars on Earth, and at $2 million, possibly the most expensive. And considering all 5 are being pre-sold, we were not just the first, but possibly the last journalists to get to drive one. And drive I did. Built entirely from carbon fiber and titanium, this is not just the most expensive and most exclusive, but perhaps, by far, the most brutal car you will ever see on the road. We headed home slightly overwhelmed by the whole experience. Kevin and I had shared quite a lot over the last few days, but as they say, all good things must eventually come to an end. Kevin was slightly worried as he had developed some kind of a cough or a cold or a sniffle, and of course with the ongoing swine flu epidemic, this became quite a bit of a panic for him. So he brought out the mother of all face masks. This segment is brought to you by Brothers Burger and Castrol.
The newly revised Subaru Tribeca 3.6 was awarded the mid-size sport utility vehicle of the year against the Hyundai VERACRUZ and the Mazda CX-9.
This has got to be a pretty tough segment because they're all very closely matched. You have the outstanding Mazda CX-9, which is probably the best looking crossover vehicle around, 20-inch rims, dynamic engine. Then you've got the Hyundai VERACRUZ with an outstanding diesel engine. Very smooth, very refined, and the only one in its class that has one. And you'll be surprised with the fit and finish and the features that are found in cars worth probably twice as much. But I think in the end, it's the outstanding engineering of the Subaru Tribeca. With a symmetrical all-wheel drive system, an outstanding H6 boxer engine, which is very smooth and refined and very balanced, and of course the overall package being the newest of the bunch, it's fresh, and for the new car buyer, that's important because it gives it the longest shelf life. Anything to add?
That was beautiful, James.
Nice. Gotta do this. See what I have to work with here?
The Suzuki APV Type 2 SGX won the Compact People Carrier Award against Kia Carens EX CRDI, Toyota Avanza 1.5G VVTi, Nissan Grand Livina.
Now, I know I'm not the only one out there that's probably thinking the Suzuki is the unconventional choice here. You see, you've got the Kia Carens, which is the most awarded vehicle, at least in its class, and then you've got the best-selling vehicle in its class, the Toyota Avanza. So, care to explain?
In a nutshell, James, the Suzuki Type 2 APV is actually an improvement on an already smart design, boasting the highest capacity in its class, combined with ABS.
When you start talking about the mid-sized people carrier category, it turns into some kind of a family feud where every feature is weighed out. But the Kia Carnival EX long wheelbase was able to trump it over Chrysler Town and Country Touring, Toyota Previa 2.4Q.
Well, James, I'm actually shocked that the Kia Carnival was able to defend against the all-new Chrysler Town and Country and the Toyota Previa.
Well, like I said, in this category in particular, everything is weighed out. And I think when you're talking about a family car, it's got to do the school runs, it's got to take dad to work, it's got to do all of that stuff. And a diesel engine plays a vital role. And the Kia is pretty much the only vehicle that has that. Also, I think in the end, it comes down to price.
Get up close with Porsche's newest and most revolutionary creation as C-Drive goes to Germany to sample the Panamera's unbelievable speed, power, and incredible innovations. Next on C-Drive.
Aurus, official watch partner of the AT&T Williams team. The experts drive high-tech Williams and wear high-mech Aurus. Stylish, strong, powerful. Aurus, Swiss-made watches since 1904.
In the full-size people carrier category, once again it was the unstoppable Hyundai Grand STAREX VGT up against the usual suspects. Toyota HYUNDAI Super GRANDIA, Mercedes-Benz VIANO 3 liters CRDI.
Actually, I'm in total agreement here, James. The STAREX seems to have it all. Capacity, versatility, utility, comfort. It's even fun to drive. The much anticipated Ferrari California swooped down and scooped up the Supercar Award against some truly awesome opponents. Porsche 911 GT2, Nissan GTR.
Now, while it may seem pretty redundant to say that this was the most exciting category, well, no disrespect, of course, intended to the other categories, but a combined horsepower of around 1,500, come on, that's enough to light up a small country. And while some people out there would be forgiven to think that the Nissan GTR should have won because pound for pound, it is the most affordable supercar, let's face it, at this stratosphere, it's not that price sensitive. What people are looking for are pride of ownership, exclusivity, and while the GT2 is an incredible car, it takes a truly seasoned driver to extract the most out of it, which is why the Ferrari, with the history, the passion, the versatility, and now the drivability, makes it one truly amazing supercar. Let's do it together.
Absolutely. Oh, sorry.
This segment is brought to you by Nissan Motor Philippines and Rota.
There was a time when 2 doors was enough for the average sports car fan. But nowadays we want more. We're all into foursomes. Well, at least some car companies like Porsche are. When they released their very first 4-door saloon. It's called the Panamera. It is a sports car, but is it a Porsche? I fly over to Germany to find out. Only here on Counterflow.
Hi there and welcome to another C video travel log. I'm on board an Emirates flight on the way to Munich, and let me just get a couple of things straight first before I begin this vlog. Number one, this can't be compared to the Italian travel vlogs, okay, because Kevin's not here, my trusty travel buddy, and aside from the little voices inside my head, there's nobody else to interact with except you guys, so it's just us. And secondly is, well, you may end up hating me a little bit more than normal after this. Having said that, with all that out of the way, it's time to fasten your seatbelts securely because I'm going to take you for a ride around Germany in a Porsche Panamera. But as usual, the journey always begins in Naiya, and it was 2 in a row for me this time as one of the ground crew from Emirates happened to be a fan. No kidding. As I was filming this particular clip, dressed in the magazine's uniform, she walked up to me and she said, oh my god, I'm a big fan. I watch the CI channel like all the time. Are you from there? This is say I did what anyone would have done and said, of course. It got me into the business class line and an upgraded seat.
In the exit door, window seat.
As excited as I was about this trip, I have to admit I was also a little sad because I lost my travel buddy, so I did the next best thing. Flying Emirates means flying through to Dubai Airport, which is no big problem because it's about the top 3 airport in my list. It's full of glitz and glamour. Instead of perfumes in the duty-free, they've also got cars, and really nice ones too. Put it this way, there are a lot worse airports to spend your time in. And aside from all the glitz and glamour, there's free Wi-Fi! Woohoo! And check this out, even the wall clocks are Rolex. But I didn't travel all this way just to see an airport, of course. I was off to Munich to drive perhaps the most groundbreaking new model this decade. It's Porsche's all-new Panamera, a 4-door sports saloon from a 2-door sports car company. There was just one tiny little problem. It seems that Porsche had the car bugged.
Got him. I got the bastard. Obama, eat your heart out, man.
Nothing washes off 24 hours of travel fatigue faster than a spirited drive through the German countryside in a beautiful German car. We're en route to our hotel when I saw this castle, and all I could say was, oh my god. Little did I know that that castle was my home for the next 3 days. That's right, this is my hotel. Welcome to my little world. Do you hate me yet? After a very brief check-in, which went a lot smoother than the hotel in Italy. Hang on, sorry. Who puts a chair there? I mean, who walks up half a flight and needs to take a seat? Seriously. Anyway, so I get into my room, open up the door, and check this out. It takes several months for Porsche to plan an international media launch. In the case of the Panamera, this took over 1 year. The challenge is to find something exclusive, something that shares the same brand values as Porsche. It needs to be near enough to an international airport, yet far enough away to still capture the natural landscape of the country. Sounds simple enough until you realize that Porsche need to book out the entire hotel exclusively for their guests for 1 full month. They'll need at least 80 rooms with a conference room, a function room, and a dining hall to accommodate everyone. Porsche actually employ a full-time team to do nothing but scout for new locations. Nestled at the foot of the Wetterstein Mountains in Bavaria, the Hotel Schloss in Elmau was just perfect. Originally built in 1916, it was intended to be an artistic community where helpers and not employees cared for visiting guests and artists. This attracted thousands of young people from around the world who wanted to gain independence and work experience in a fabulous natural environment while being inspired by interaction with world-famous artists of all genres. But perhaps the most important point is it's got to be surrounded by the greatest driving roads on earth. Porsche had plotted out an exclusive route for the Panamera launch, over 300 kilometers of the most breathtaking roads in Germany, through lakes and mountains and unrestricted autobahns, where you could really find the car's limits. It was developed by some of the sharpest minds in the automotive industry, and is Porsche's first 4-door saloon, dedicated to Dr. Ferry Porsche on what would have been his 100th birthday. Plus it uses Porsche's sensational PDK or double clutch system, to put all that power right to the ground. It will accelerate to over 100 kilometers an hour, faster than I can even finish this sentence, yet can still return an outstanding 11.1 kilometers for every liter, thanks to direct fuel injection and a system that stops the car's engine once it's brought to a full stop. Yet none of this takes any of the fun away from 500 horsepower and, of course, rear-wheel drive. Obviously, there's a whole lot more to the car than just that, but if I told you everything, you guys might not want to buy the magazine. And then where would that leave me, right? So basically, after we got our fill of the roads, it was time to get our bellies full. So we went to lunch in a very quaint part of Germany, somewhere in the outskirts of, well, I really don't know, but it was really pretty. All the German staples were there, like potatoes, cabbage, sausages, more potatoes, and of course, sauerkraut. Of course, the meat lovers were treated to veal, lamb, beef, pork, chicken, duck, more sausages, and of course, a healthy array of salads. They may not take their food as seriously as the Italians, but they're very, very efficient, just like with everything else they do. And after lunch, it was basically the same thing all over again, the drive back to the hotel, but this time it was pouring down with rain, which at least got me to try out the four-wheel drive system of the Panamera 4S. By the time we got to the hotel, I needed a little bit of me time just to be able to absorb what had just happened and the magnificence of the day, before, of course, heading out for dinner. The Schloss Elmau Hotel is not just known for its nature spa and its breathtaking views, but also for its menu. And I wasn't about to leave the place without sampling some of their specialty dishes. Otherwise, Kevin would be really, really upset at me.
This is sauerkraut. It's a different looking sauerkraut. It looks different. It's like creamy. A little veal knuckle with the asparagus.
But as always, all good things must come to an end, and for me this was some sort of a last supper because I knew that in less than 12 hours or so, I'd be back to eating stale airline food. Yep, it was off home for just about an hour and a half before a quick turnaround to fly over to Seoul, Korea for the launch of the Kia Sorento. It was a back-to-back trip, and one that's absolutely brutal, but hey, you're not gonna catch me complaining. Well, that was until I got to Naiya and the transfer desk and found out there was nobody there, and my flight was about to leave in about an hour. Which of course I hit panic mode. See, in all my flights I've never actually had to transfer from Naiya, so this is all very new to me. Especially the fact that everything has to be logged down by the security guard, including my date of birth, my mother's maiden name, my blood type, and if there are any distinguishing marks on my left kidney. Needless to say, all this left me knackered. To think there was still another 4-hour flight to go and a full day's work ahead once I got there.
Hey, I really missed out on the Porsche Panamera trip in Germany, man.
But it kind of felt like you were there the whole time. You know what I mean?
Oh, sweet.
If you guys have been left hanging, don't worry, there is a cure just around the corner. Actually, at any good bookstore, you can pick up a copy of C Magazine. Even the bad bookstores carry us too.
That's
if
right.
you're in Korea, you got your own Korean edition.
Or worldwide on www.c-magazine.com.
There you go, get your fix right there. Till then, this has been James Deacon.
And Kevin Limhoko.
And we'll catch you again on another episode of
C-Drive.